Hey, what's up everyone? So this week is going to be a little bit different from every other week. Hunter was taking up a lot of time, so I decided to change it up this week a little bit. First off, I'm going to go get some imps to bank my chins while hunting. And there's this new spot over in Zaya. So to get there, you use the fairy ring code DJR. So I just got one full inventory of imp boxes. Should be more than enough for how much hunter we're going to be doing. Put your box traps in the places that I'm doing, and you should end up getting a full inventory pretty quick. It should only take a few minutes. So this week I finished up our hunter that we're going to be doing at Black Chins anyway. So in this past 1 week I've basically played I think this week plus an extra week plus one. So I basically played 3 weeks worth of time for this account in just this week, so that we can get past the hunter a lot quicker. So it's not a bunch of videos of just showing exactly the same thing week after week. We all get the idea. So then for my main account, I traded over 700k, which was the extra days that I played, money from battle staffs that I didn't get because I did it all this week. Then the only other difference is farming experience. I would have had more farming experience if I actually played just 1 hour or my regular time over 3 weeks. But the thing is with farming, I'm almost done with farming. I only have like 1 or 2 more mahogany tree runs left, and then we have 68 farming, which is, I'm pretty sure, the highest farming we need for any hard diary. So by the end of next video, I should have 68 farming anyway. So last week I left off at 5,661,055 hunting experience. And then this week when I ended my hunter at Black Chins, I had 9,420,625 XP. The reason why I'm stopping Black Chins right there, I did a little bit of math, and that should be the point where I stop, where I can end this series off with enough money to buy a godsword set if I finish the rest at Red Chins. And the reason why I'm going to be doing the last bit of my hunter experience at Red Chins instead of Black Chins is because I'm actually getting less experience at Black Chins than I was expecting, quite a bit less. On my main account, when I do Red Chins, I know I get somewhere around like 180k experience on average using the private hunter area once you finish the Western Hard Diary or something like that. So I was expecting to get more than that at Black Chins because you get an extra trap and the chins give more XP than the Red Chins. So I'm kind of surprised why I'm only getting 160k XP per hour. I did get attacked a fair bit, so that of course is affecting it a bit. But even when I'm not getting attacked, I still usually only average like 170k experience, 175k experience, something like that. I know you can get like 200 something K experience at Black Chins. It's possible, but maybe you need like an alt account to shoot the chins instead of doing it yourself. And maybe there's some other techniques to help out. I'm not sure, but I know I can get 180k XP at Red Chins, and I'm only getting 170k, or I guess 160k here at Black Chins. So I'm just gonna go ahead and finish it off at Red Chins for faster experience. I did the math, and I should have enough for a godsword set at the end of the series, even if I do the rest of my hunter at Red Chins instead of Black Chins. Although that was using a higher price, I did calculate that using a little bit of a higher price than Black Chins are right now. They did go up to 3,150 each this week, and I thought there was no way they were going to crash down before the week was over, or at least not like a big crash, but they went from 3,150 each down to 2,790 each. So when I was calculating this, I just used 2,900 each for the Black Chins because I thought there was no way they were going to go below that before this week was over, but they did. So I may have to actually hunt more Black Chins, or I may have to do a little bit of hunter experience past 99 on Red Chins to afford my final goal. I gained 3,759,570 hunter experience, and that took me 23.75 hours. Which works out to be almost 160k XP per hour on average. And that is all the time I spent on doing everything, farming runs, battle staffs, catching imps, all that stuff since I left off last week. And also the day counter up in the left hand corner is actually wrong, or at least I think it's wrong for this clip. I stopped counting, I think, after 1:30. I just left it on that. I decided that I would just go to Hans once I was done catching Black Chins and just check my playtime there, and then just calculate what day I was on based on my playtime. But after I leave Black Chins, it should be accurate. It's just during the Black Chin clips where it might be wrong. So that 3.759 million experience I gained this week, or I guess technically it's 3 weeks for this account, that works out. Some of that is from imps, but it should be close to 11,935 black chins that I caught. Although I did die with some. I think I lost like a total of 500 black chins since I started this grind like on week 14. Starting at like 80 hunter or whatever I started with when I started going for 99. So what I actually have in the bank, what I actually banked this week, maybe a little bit less than that. But anyway, when I went to the GE to sell all the chins I had in the bank, I had 24,000 black chins, and I ended up selling those for 2,824 each, and that gave me a little over 67 mil. So now that we're done with black chins, we can finally start training combat. I'm sure a lot of you guys want to see that. I've probably lost a lot of viewers doing skilling and questing and all this stuff first. I'm sure a lot of you guys expected me to for this to mostly be about combat, but there's a lot more to the game besides combat, and I feel like this is probably the best way to go about it. But we're finally getting to combat. Combat is extremely easy though in this game. It's pretty much just Nightmare Zone and Slayer. So with all of our new money, the first thing we're going to get up is prayer. So you're going to want to buy like 1,400 dragon bones. We're going to be using them on the chaos altar in the wilderness. The cool thing about this altar is it gives you the same experience as a gilded altar. So you get 252 XP for every dragon bone, which is almost 4 times the regular XP. And you have a 50% chance of saving a bone when using it on this altar. So it saves you, it basically cuts the price in half, which is pretty overpowered, especially for our account, because the balancing for this is kind of, you're in the wilderness, so you might die and lose dragon bones. But since we are a low level and we have access to the 1250 total world, we're probably not going to die. Most of the people who PK at the chaos altar are mains and high levels. There's not too many low levels or pures running around there. There is a NPC right next to the altar that will unnote bones for 50 GP each. So what you want to bring with you is some food, some crown buan. Don't bring anything that you don't want to lose, because you can still die here. There still may be some PKers, especially after this video. I didn't die at all, but I may have just gotten lucky. I'd say bring maximum 150 noted dragon bones with you, probably more like 50 to 100. Then you want to bring cash to unnote the bones, some food, and a burning amulet, glory amulet to teleport out. This method is pretty easy. You use your burning amulet to teleport up to the lava maze. From there you want to run west and just a little bit south, and you should come across the altar. It's in level 38 wilderness, at the very most western part of the wilderness as far as you can go. And then you just use your dragon bones on the altar, and that is all there is to it. And then when you're out of bones, you just unnote them on the NPC right outside the building. As far as escapes, you just want to run south and teleport out if you're not TB'd. If you are TB'd, there are Enku to the south as well. You may want to try and get a box on one of them. You could try and run up to KBD and get a box on the spider. And once again, put your attack options for players on hidden. If someone says to box them, they're going to save you, don't attack them. They're trying to skull trick you. Although we're not risking anything, we don't really have a +1 item, so it's not really that big of a deal if we skull, but I'd still play it safe if I were you. When you run out of bones, just run south and teleport to Edgeville with your glory amulet and bank there and just repeat that. You can either just use one bone on the altar and then your bone, it will just go through all your bones itself, but it's pretty slow. I like to use my bones on the altar manually. You can get a lot more experience that way, more than double, depending on how well you can click. I averaged, I think, like 480k XP while getting 70 prayer. That's with no mouse keys or anything. I dropped a lot of bones, clicked bury. Thankfully, they updated them, so where if you click bury, it will actually give you like a chat option, so you don't actually bury them. If you are using mouse keys, I guess AHK is bannable now, so you can't use that, but if you're using mouse keys, they are useful for doing the drop down to the use option, so you don't drop the bones or bury them like I did a lot. You can probably get way over 500k XP per hour. So I forgot about this while doing prayer, but you can actually stop about 40k XP before level 70, because we are going to do some quests that will get us the last 40k XP up to level 70 prayer. It will save you a little bit of money. It's not a big deal. So from 45 to 70 prayer, it should take about 1,342 bones on this altar. It does save half your bones, so really you're going to have to use like about 2,700 bones on the altar, but since you save half of them, you should only lose about 1,342, and that should take about 1 hour 25 minutes if you average the same as me, which is 480k XP per hour. And the reason why we're doing prayer right now is because there's a few different reasons. First of all, we want to do our prayer at this altar while we're still a low level, so that we have a lower chance of being attacked and killed. Number 2 is, while we're doing a Slayer or combat or whatever we're doing, whenever we're using prayer potions, with higher prayer is going to restore more of our prayer points for every dose that we drink, so it's going to save us money anywhere where we have to use prayer potions, which pretty much anywhere you're training combat, you want to be using prayer potions. You want to be using your the prayers that give you attack and strength bonuses. And we need 70 prayer for piety anyway, eventually. So it's just best to do it now while we're low level. So after that prayer, we're going to be doing magic with alching while doing quests. So I just went ahead and bought 10,000 nature runes, and then I bought 2,300 amethyst arrows. We're going to have to do low alchemy first. So that's why I went with amethyst arrows. We're going to be losing about 100 GP per low alch, which isn't super bad for low alch. We're only going to have to do 2,300 of them. So that's 230k loss. Then I put an offer in for black d'hide tops. We actually profit a fair amount with black d'hide tops once we get to high alchemy. You definitely don't want to do black d'hide tops with low alchemy. Save those for high alch. They have a really low buy limit, so we'll just do those as many as you can get. I think it's like 70 every 4 hours. So I just put that in now to kind of start stocking up on those while I'm still on low alch and doing other stuff. So once I actually get to high alch, I have a few hundred of them at least to alch. So the quests I got to this week are listed here. So first up we have Inakra's Lament. The rewards from this are a Camulet and a Camel Mask, as well as XP. You actually get quite a bit of XP off this quest. The Camulet teleports you inside this new dungeon that you get to during this quest. It's kind of over by the pyramid from Desert Treasure. The Camel Mask is just a cosmetic. It doesn't have any bonuses, I don't think, or very little bonuses. Next up is Spirits of the Elid. It's a pretty easy quest. You get a fair amount of experience from this quest as well. And you unlock the ability to use the prayer altar there, or their fountain, I guess the quest guide says. When you pray at that altar, it restores your HP, it restores your prayer, and it restores your run energy. The reason we did those two quests, they're required for one of the desert diaries. Next up, you're going to want to do the bar crawl. It's required for our next quest, and also once you finish it, you can unlock a little quality of life thing. You don't have to do this, but personally I really like it. But you can speak to the barbarians after it, and you can have them, you can turn on vial smashing, which is basically when you finish a potion, so you have one dose left and you drink that one dose, the vial will just disappear. You won't have an empty vial in your inventory. So I turn that on. Another little helpful tip that we're going to be doing right now is head over to Lumbridge and speak to the magic tutor. They have an option where you can make it so whenever you pick up runes, if you have a rune pouch and let's say you have blood runes inside your rune pouch, if you pick up blood runes off the ground, the blood runes you pick up will just automatically go into your rune pouch instead of going into your inventory. So this is just a quality of life thing. You don't have to have that on. Personally, I like it, so I turn that on. And then also the range tutor right next to the magic tutor, there is an option you can turn on that when you pick up arrows, the arrows will just automatically go into your arrow slot. Or if you have like a blowpipe, it will automatically go into your blowpipe. So I like to have that on, so I turn that on as well. So next up is Horror from the Deep. This quest will give us some combat experience as well as unlocking prayer books, which give a prayer bonus, and they also have some combat stats. There's a few different types of prayer books you can get, and each one has its own unique stats. Some of them are pretty strong, like the Book of Law and the Book of Darkness. Those are the range and mage books. They go in the shield slot, and the Book of Darkness gives plus 10 mage attack, and the Book of Law gives plus 10 range attack. So that's actually pretty strong for the shield slot in old school RuneScape, and they have a prayer bonus, and they are very cheap. You pay for pages, and you use the pages on the book to fill them up, and that's just basically a one-time fee. But after you pay that one-time fee, you can lose them and then go reclaim them back for like 5k. So they're a really cheap weapon that's actually, or I guess shield that's actually pretty strong. Next up is the Eyes of Glofrey. This quest actually gives us, once again, a lot of experience. And you also unlock a small crystal seed from it, and you can turn that crystal seed into a crystal saw. And the crystal saw is actually pretty useful because it allows you to build things inside your house that are 3 levels above your actual level. So if you have 67 construction, you can build something that is level 70 construction. And you can stack that with boosts. So if you are 67 construction, you get a plus 5 boost. So now you are 72 construction. the saw will add on top of that so that you can build something that takes 75 construction. A lot of people do that for gilded altars, which takes 75 construction. You can actually make those with only 67 construction. You can do that with the pools. The thing with the saw is it only works on things that require a saw to make. Some of the things inside the house don't require a saw, such as the plants, if you plant plants, and then a few other things I can't really think of. And then finally, we're just finishing the week off with the waterfall quest, which gives you a lot of attack and strength experience, which is really helpful because then we don't have to grind through the really early levels, which are slow. And you unlock the waterfall dungeon, which has fire giants in it. And that's as far as I got this week. So thank you guys all for watching, and see you in the next video.